Well, howdy everybody. We've reached the end of our World Ceremonies reactions, the openings. I've been watching some behind the scenes, but I think the ones from 2020 onwards, or the ones that had them, and someone said to me in the Discord suggestions, by the way, have you heard of 10 months in 10 minutes, which is a basically behind the scenes mini documentary about how they made the 2019 World's opening ceremony, and I said I hadn't, and I will react to it on the channel, and so that is what we're doing today. Speaking of the Discord, that is my Discord server. We've got designated channels for Arcane, League, bunch of different stuff. Now we've got pets. You can post pictures of your pets if you'd like to. If that sounds like your thing, the link is in the top of the description. If you want to come and hang out with us and the rest of us in there, just click that, click join, and then you're in. I'll see you in there.
The opening ceremony is the pinnacle of what fans look forward to every single League of Legends season.
Getting to do this for players, it's really an honor, and it's incredibly motivating to think back to when I first started playing and I watched the show and I was completely blown away.
He is really cool.
The thing that unifies all of us is this desire to deliver an absolutely unforgettable experience for players.
The challenge is that we're always trying to figure out how to set the bar higher.
Every year with the opening ceremony, there's a whole slew of challenges, but there's always 1 to 2 that we'll just remember forever.
In 2017, the dragon wasn't landing on the stadium until the morning of the show.
Really?
In 2018, everyone loved KDA, but we had our most public failure.
We had this big idea for a portal, and that broke live on air.
We lost power to the camera and completely ruined the transition into the next part of the show.
It's just a reminder.
So that's what it was. Oh, I wondered what that was because I knew, well, it was one of these things where I was like, is it either like a design choice or was it actually a glitch? Okay, so yeah, there was something there, okay.
It's just a reminder that we're in a live show and anything can go wrong.
The 2019 opening ceremony was our most technically challenging show to date, but the path to success was often unclear and there were many hurdles along the way.
This looks so stressful, but so good at the
The
same
conversation
time.
every single year is, what's going to be the thing? What's the dragon? Is it 2 dragons?
We wanted to flip the show on its head. We wanted to give players something completely unexpected.
We wanted to bring our IP to life in ways that have never been accomplished before.
We wanted to depart from what we'd done the previous year. We knew we had the possibility to do some really cool stuff.
We didn't have the True Damage song. We didn't have the World's Anthem. We really were coming up with ideas without knowing how they were actually going to be integrated into the creative of the show.
What if we made the trophy itself this sort of central character that reveals itself at the end?
We had this idea of bringing our music videos to life on stage, but how we were actually going to accomplish that, we weren't quite sure yet.
How do you bring an Echo parallel convergence to life? How do you bring an Aurelia blade dance interacting with people, and how does that stay true to her character in the game?
I remember, like, we started talking about magic.
Holograms in particular was a type of tech that we had wanted to play with, but never really had the opportunity to do before.
It was a way to do magic, but in our way, with technology.
So basically they'd done the AR element, but then they shifted into, because you see a lot of this as well in like the 2022, the one with Lil Nas, you see a lot of that kind of holographic stuff. So this is kind of what kicked it off, okay.
When approaching the hologram technology, traditionally it's only viewed from a single point from the audience, but for our show it was going to be 360.
We were pushing the limits of this technology.
We'd seen demos, but we hadn't done it. We'd seen other people's content, we hadn't seen ours. The fundamental question that we weren't going to be able to answer until we answered it was, will this work?
Jesus. See, this is just crazy to me. Sorry, 67 days. This is 2 months before the show. 2 months before the show, and they're still like prepping this much, and then there's still so much last minute. Like I say, I mean, 10 months in 10 minutes. So they're thinking about this the minute that they finish a show. They're like, right, what's next year's, really? By the time it's all died down.
These opening ceremonies are perfect opportunities to take musical experiences to new places and to excite players in like totally new ways.
For us, it's just trying to really touch people and also express ourselves in different kind of creative ways.
Awakened Giants and Phoenix were all very different genres of music, and figuring out a way to seamlessly transition those was a challenge in itself.
True Damage is really that next evolution for us of moving into continuing that narrative, tying the knot between previous years into this year and potentially showing more opportunity.
It was really exciting.
I'm gonna say True Damage and Heartsteel at this point are my favourites. Yeah, I really like KDA, and I do really, really like Pentakill, actually. I'd want them to do more Pentakill, as well as... I'd like them to do more of all of them, but True Damage, that was very catchy when I watched the reaction vid to that. And then Heartsteel, I really like that as well.
As with any song, you're not always 100% sure if everyone's going to vibe with it. We really wanted to think about what music would sound like in 5 or 10 years with a weird mix of languages and sounds, and taking something that's fundamentally hip-hop but infusing it with a lot of unique DNA. We had to keep all of this under wraps, what it sounded like, what the performance was like, and we had to sort of trust that players would follow us down this path into a genre that we hadn't explored yet.
Oh, that's so cool. Sorry, can I just go back? And I like things like this. When you see like storyboards and like, because you can see the thinking process of how people build it, you know. Oh, I love things like this.
It sounded like, what the performance was like, and we had to sort of trust that players would follow us down this path into a genre that we hadn't explored yet.
So when it comes to like working with certain artists, we really want to reach out to ones that like kind of get it, right? And are truly invested, understand what we're trying to accomplish.
When they feel like they're inhabiting Senna, when they feel like they're bringing Echo to life, like that is the sweet spot.
And overall, just a cool partnership.
I suppose, sorry to keep pausing it, but I get sort of thoughts coming. I suppose you're almost looking for like, you know, you have a voice actor that portrays a character through their voice. I suppose you're almost in some ways looking for like a character actor as a singer, someone who can become the person they are singing from the perspective of. I suppose that would be a really interesting genre. I mean, I know that has existed to a degree where artists will do an album and build a character around it, or like an alter ego. But I can see even more mainstream music becoming more like that. Like, I think Arcane is going to actually particularly create a sort of snowball effect where large production companies and people making visual content like movies and TV shows are going to lean into getting artists and stuff to build narrative through like an album or a soundtrack. I think that's going to become really quite mainstream. I think you're going to see that a lot, actually. Small independent artists making music for Netflix shows and things like that. I think that's going to become a lot more common than people think it is. And also the idea of pop becoming more character-based and story-based. Because now we've got AI on the scene, music's going to become even more commoditized than it already is, to be honest. I think people are going to have to find a way to make people care about songs more, and they're probably going to do that through creating story through the songs. So there'll be an element of lore to artists' work, whether it be through albums or through movies. I really feel that is going to be quite important, actually.
A cool experience to do something together, and that's really what it's about for us. So when we had chosen the members of the band, this basically it became the time of excitement for us, because the opening ceremonies team then had an understanding of what it was going to potentially look like on stage. It's just, that's where all the creativity just starts to explode.
We keep pushing the limits of what technology can do for us, but that is in service of where is our imagination taking us. Embracing holograms gave us the opportunity to have this action and reaction between our virtual performers and our human performers in a way that we knew was going to be very special.
When we first started investigating how to do this show properly in the round and represent these champions on stage with real live performers, we realized that we needed some very specific technology in order to make that happen.
With augmented reality, there's always this compromise of like, it's going to look great on broadcast, but is it really that compelling in a live setting? And this is going to be really special because we don't actually need that layer of technology through a camera to be able to experience it.
Yeah, see, I did wonder about that. Obviously, if you're there at the show with augmented reality, you can't see anything unless you've got like, you're watching the live stream of it through like a headset or something, I imagine. But you do lack that. Whereas a hologram, you're doing it there and then for anybody seeing it, whether the cameras are picking it up or the audience are picking it up. And yeah, I did wonder that. Like, that would obviously completely change your viewing experience, you know?
There's actually going to be a whole bunch of HoloNet scrims, which you can see here. This set of services should be invisible to the naked eye, and it will be able to capture our projections on it.
In order to make this feel most magical, we needed to hide as much of how it all came together from the audience as possible.
To accomplish that, we had to find ultra short throw projectors, which are in a very limited amount in the entire world.
The first question was, can we get enough to even do this?
With holograms, if the holograms fail, you just have a performer on an empty stage and there's really nothing else to it.
The show...
Does this make anyone else really stressed? Like, when you hear the stress they're going through for a performance like this, does anyone else get slightly clammy? Because I love the idea of being creative and building stuff, and then I see stuff like this where people build things for a deadline or whatever, and it genuinely makes me nervous. Like, I get really nervous for anyone involved. Like, the idea of like a big show night scares the bejesus out of me. It's one thing working for months and months and months to make a movie, and sure, you've got like, you know, a deadline in mind and whatever, but a live event where there's an audience and stuff, and the odds that it could go wrong are quite high. Like, the more you add to it, the more you increase the odds because it's more complex. Does it make anyone else feel like they want to poke themselves? Because it does with me.
It was so reliant on the technology. We knew that we needed to stress test it to its max. We got a small test piece that we were able to set up in the LCS studio here in LA.
This is the very first time that we've actually put content intended for the actual show on the technology, bring out the flow, and we'll see what the clothes look like and what people look like back there with this.
Everyone was so excited to see what this product looked like because none of us had actually seen it in person before.
We learned that lighting was one of the tricks to create the illusion.
Something we learned was that if performers were wearing dark clothes or black clothes, they would just disappear, and certain materials were really distracting behind the holograms.
1, 2, 3. In order to deliver...
See, then it works really well because everyone in True Damage actually wore really bright colours. Because I did notice that from 2019 onwards that everything got a lot more vibrant and colourful. Like the 2022 one with Lil Nas, that's the same. It's very bright, sort of bright yellows, oranges, pinks, teal, blue. And I did wonder why they made that transition. They went from more sort of earthy, I don't know how to put it, like League colours. I don't really know, like with the dragon and stuff. And then they changed it and everything kind of went more pop concert kind of hue. I don't really know how to describe it, but like the pyrotechnics and stuff, they just kind of one-upped it every year, and I wondered if there was any reason behind that. But interesting to know with the holograms, it doesn't pick something up if it's dark in terms of colour. That makes sense as to why everyone's wearing quite bright colours.
In order to deliver a show that really worked, we had to get the best people in the world at every position.
It's really incredible, all the people who are like legends in their own fields coming together to tell the story of the legends and our characters through this hologram technology.
This must be so fun to be a part of though, like so stressful, but like I don't know, the teamwork of it, like if you have a team that you really get along with, or even someone that, you know, so you do it year after year and you get to know people more and more, it must be really fun.
We set up a full-scale hologram test here in LA. If for some reason it didn't work, we were so close to show date that we really didn't have any backup options.
It's very difficult to pinpoint very specific problems with specific pieces of content without seeing it up there, live, ready.
Not having the projectors is showstopper, for sure. Like, that's not up for debate.
Solutions have been found.
We did a shoot
It's so stressful.
Duckworth, which was great. It was great. And then we're doing prep today. We're doing 3 days work here, and then we have a full shoot day Monday. I die Tuesday.
Every time there's wind, the ceiling is actually moving.
This was one of the largest uses of this technology to date.
We had so many unique gags that we were trying with the technology, and we needed to make sure that each one was playing exactly the way we expected it to.
We were moments away from departure, and all the things that had to get figured out were piling up. We still had to shoot the talent on green screen for their holograms.
That is so crazy, and that's like the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It's awesome. It's going to be great to really bring it to life. I can't wait to sort of inhabit Camille.
This is like reality is kicking in full force right now. You're in it now. There's no turning back.
Can I just say, like, I really appreciate League and stuff and Riot doing these behind the scenes. I just wish they were longer. Like, I love seeing about all the holograms and stuff, but I just wish the behind the scenes would also focus on things that people don't usually care about. Like, small little things about costume design or anything. Like, I'd love to see all the other bits and bobs that people don't really want to care about. Like, I love the fact the hologram and stuff we're learning about it, and it's really cool, it's really futuristic and cool. But I just love all the little simple stuff, like, how do they build the stages, like, or whatever, like, how do they ship stuff in and do it? Like, I like to know the really, like, nitty-gritty details of stuff. I love that this exists. I just wish this was, like, 3 times as long, because I'd love to know more about the people that don't get represented at all in any of this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's so cool.
No, this is the most magical stairs I've ever been on.
See, like, someone's had to animate all of that in the first place so that it syncs up with him. Like, that alone is probably somebody's work. If it's one person for months on end, if it's multiple people, it's still weeks on end. Oh, wow.
Whoa, yeah.
It's the moment of truth.
Faster, okay.
Oh, they've made like a mini stage. Oh, wow.
So,
In the week before everyone departed for Paris, it was this passionate, frantic rush. What can we do to make this absolutely the best? Because we know it can be.
so that we could go 17.
And then on the...
I thought it was okay for it to be the It was going to be 1 meter away. It wasn't 1 meter away.
No.
Why are we looking at that
I know, but you're telling me that the other one is twice as much as that?
So the front edge.
We weren't even in Paris yet.
Can you truly understand the amount of hours that would go into this? I would go insane, and I don't know how you do something like this. Like, what happens if there is an argument between 2 people or something? Like, what happens if one element of this breaks? All of it crumbles, doesn't it?
I knew that we weren't going to get the final piece of content until the day before the show. So,
oh, I couldn't do this. So stressful, I couldn't do it. I've never been to Paris. I'd like to go one day.
We arrive in Paris and we have 7 days to make everything work perfectly.
We knew that we were going to have an extraordinarily tight load in.
In 2018, we had over 2 weeks in the venue. 2 days of tech rehearsal and 5 days of rehearsal. Every minute of delay starts to just remove rehearsal time.
Our production team worked a heroic 24/7 schedule to get that show loaded in.
It's insane. Everyone is rushing to finish everything.
Everything comes back to how much time will we have to get the creative ready for show day.
We always wish we have more time.
While our main stage is being built, we actually replicated its dimensions in the next room over. That way our talent and our dancers could get used to their blocking and actually interacting with the holograms.
Oh, wow.
It's the first time that talent is working with the technology.
This was also the first time that our choreographers were getting to work with the local Parisian dancers.
It's the first time for a lot of things.
Seeing the True Damage crew practice the song together for the first time was kind of nerve-wracking. This was a group of artists that come from all over.
I'm getting chills, I don't know why.
We didn't know how well they'd get along, how good their group chemistry would be.
It's really important that even in this small amount of time, that they learn how to work together really well.
This is
They
really
had
cool.
to be in sync, and we only had a few days to get them there.
We're thinking for today, it would be great to just go in chronological order. So we're kind of gonna go in sections. And so the more that we are interacting and we're moving in the same way at times, or at least have moments with the holograms, yeah, that's when like you really zoom out and you're like, oh man, this is like all working together.
Crazy, Big E's next level. You know, I can't wait to be up there and see it come to fruition, come to life. You know, I'm excited. It's gonna be beautiful. Big vibe.
I'm very excited too.
First thought.
So we'll see. I guess speechless, because he was speechless. It's like nothing I've really ever done before, so I'm super hyped.
I feel like I need to like elevate my own like personal performance now. After all that.
All these millions.
You know, all that. I'm like, okay. I guess rapping on the mic ain't enough now.
All these months and months of planning, and the thing that we envisioned over these last 9 months finally comes to life.
I'm actually sweating. Can I just say, I'm really nervous and I don't know why. Things like this really get to me.
2 and 3 and...
Every take you get more confident, more comfortable, but I feel excited. How you feel? I feel great, man. Everybody's...
I really like his jumper. Hang on.
Every take you get more
Sorry,
confident,
just give me a sec.
but,
He's got a Snoopy jumper.
I feel excited. How you feel? I feel...
Look, he's got a Snoopy jumper. I love the vibes of that jumper, sorry.
I feel great, man. Everybody's
Sorry.
now, you feel me? Everybody coming through, holding that thing down. Everybody got dance moves and stuff.
I like these two a lot.
Dancing too?
They're funny.
Once we get onto the main floor, that's where the chaos really begins.
We need to
God,
see
it's 3 days to the show.
We had a lot of fears because we had a lot of things ongoing on stage.
Everything had to go perfect. If one thing went wrong, if a hologram breaks, if somebody misses their cue, if the lighting is off, the whole thing kind of breaks.
We needed to see the lighting interact with the holograms. When and how can the holo come in and out? Will the projectors all work?
There was trouble getting the old technology to work with the new technology.
We needed to see the trunk open.
Turns out that it was more complicated than we expected it to be.
There's all of the challenges around broadcast. Do we like the camera angles?
There was content being worked on
I don't know how you do this without going absolutely insane. I don't get it.
very last second.
There's 3 pieces of content we need to check. 3, 2, 1.
I think we're having trouble hitting the marks, and that's really crucial to the show right now.
Why does the spotlight come on when I'm already about like 2 hours in?
First mark for third chorus. Cool?
Is it weird that I'm like not all the way over and then
It's alignment is not consensus, right? But
the magic is showed.
I think the toughest part this week has just
I don't know how they're doing it.
getting all the content done and making sure that it looks good and is scaled properly and is interacting with the human. Valerie sounds great. Oh my gosh.
Nerves are running high.
Time is running out.
There are so many things that we want to go right, but we can only push so far. If the hologram breaks, we don't have a solve for that. So we hope that the rest of the elements are able to help carry the show in some way.
Jesus.
No, you just gotta keep revising until...
How many people are working on this? Like, it's got to be hundreds, isn't it? Over 10 months? How many people are employed on this project, like subject to contract? How many is it? It's got to be hundreds, surely to God.
Until literally they say stop turning stuff in because the show is already over. We've got to stop.
What we see here is what we're going to get tomorrow. The show must go on.
Jesus Christ.
People are super excited. We know today's the day.
We can see and hear fans lining up outside of the building. And all of this is for them and their experience and their we're all very anxious.
Months of work are gonna show today. Like, we know everything needs to work perfectly.
There's really no downtime before the show. We are working up until the countdown clock starts.
We're all having this underlying stress of, is this actually going to work?
In the moments before the show, there's 100 different things that are going on.
they tried to open it, then it didn't open.
The trophy case didn't open when we got there in the morning. There were technical issues with it.
We didn't know if we were going to be able to have that be a working element in our show. Everything that
Oh
could go
my
wrong
God.
with Keanu's ring the morning of the show was going wrong.
Projectors, let's check. But let's not hold doors.
The HoloNets were getting unfocused because of the air conditioning in the room.
You know, the natural elements of the world.
Because they are cleaning the floor and they are super close to the screen right now.
No one anywhere near the screen, please.
You just have to accept
Oh my
that
God.
you're doing as much as you can, and whatever will happen will happen.
Yeah, we are, mate.
Doors are open, pencils down, this is it.
Nothing more we can do. Here we go. This is the game.
Jesus.
And we're about to watch the last 6 months of our life's work unfold on a small screen. It's gonna be sick.
Gonna beat up Jin? That's gonna be good.
Oh my God. And they just watch it from the back.
Play chance. Of course I'm not anxious.
At this point, we've been working for 10 months for a 10-minute show.
And officially, we have to take our hands off the steering wheel.
It's completely out of our control, and all there is left to do is watch.
Oh yeah, she was the opener, wasn't she? She opened it, yeah.
All I'm thinking about is that first hologram instant.
It hits, and you hear the crowd's reaction.
I just got goosebumps.
That was a really, really special moment for us.
As much as we've been telling ourselves we knew this would work, now we knew it worked.
Oh wow.
There's the massive What You Mean graphic on the holo, and as much as I love everything about that performance, nailing that beat in the show was the one that mattered to me more than any other.
That was such a highly complex moment of the show.
And in rehearsal, we just hadn't gotten it.
It was better than we could have ever imagined.
At the end of True Image, there's this momentary feeling of relief, like, oh, okay, we got through that. And then your brain kicks in and you're like, oh, there's all of Phoenix we gotta deal with.
Yeah, this was beautiful. Jesus Christ.
As we're sitting there watching Phoenix, we know that this trophy case moment is coming up, and that's a huge beat in our show.
The day had started with the case not opening. You can't unveil a trophy if the box doesn't open.
Oh, God.
And I remember the Steadicam move starting to circle around the case, and I had 2 seconds that felt like 2 hours of panic that it actually wasn't going to happen.
You gotta open. You have to open.
That was the last big hurdle.
The relief and catharsis, because that is effectively the last scary thing.
Oh God, can you imagine the relief? Oh my God.
Delivering something like the opening ceremony it's so hard to describe the pride you feel.
The reaction, it's showing that all those months are paying off.
We worked for so long and everyone finally got to see it, and then immediately kind of sad because it's over. We're gonna go home and get back to work.
The storm is over. It is now just enjoying a nice world championship.
Jesus.
Getting back into our normal routine, things feel a little bit quieter and a little bit slower for a while.
Yeah, it must feel really weird.
We've already begun planning what we're going to be doing for this year's World Ceremony.
So they literally finish one, have a chill for like a month, and then they're like, right, now what? Like, really, they are, right? They're like prepping them, like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. Once you get to one end, you go back to the beginning.
The 10th anniversary of competitive League of Legends, and we need a ceremony that's going to be as big as that moment should be.
Jesus.
I'm really most excited to explore what else is out there and what else we could bring to the show.
Engaging on these kinds of big creative questions is the high that we all want to keep chasing.
Music is a central force in our shows, and it's something that will stick with players forever. So I think we're going to carry that over into 2020.
We're excited about the future and all of the different ways we.
You know what happened in 2020,
make the next
right?
opening ceremony incredible.
Oh,
The
God.
2020 ceremony is going to be awesome.
It was. All of them have been pretty awesome, but you guys have got no idea what's coming. It's so sad, isn't it, about like the lockdown and stuff and how that affected the world. It's so interesting to see how they worked around that though in 2020. Do you know what I mean? But that was really, really cool. Like I said, I'm so happy that Riot and League do these behind the scenes stuff. The 2020 ceremony is going to be awesome. Coronavirus, allow me to introduce myself. Oh, I love things like this though. Like I genuinely love seeing behind the scenes. I don't know, you do sense like a camaraderie to it. There's probably a lot of arguments and some bad stuff that we don't see, which is that there's going to be, if you've got a bunch of people working together on a project, you're going to have a whole host of problems, but this is really cool. I'd watch 2 hours of this if they had it. If you know of any more behind the scenes League stuff, or anything, Arcane, Blue Eye Samurai, anything along those lines, best thing to do if you want to suggest things to me is head over to the Discord. I've got a forum which is just for video suggestions. It can be suggestions of shows to watch, YouTube videos, like this. Basically anything that other people as well as me might like to take a look at, especially if it's linked to stuff that we've already seen. So if you do know of anything, best thing to do is join the Discord and leave it there for me, and I'll take a look at it as and when I can. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, do give it a thumbs up. Always helps out the channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.